I'm Erin Harrison, coming to you from Cloud Expo at the Santa Clara Convention Center, and I'm joined today by Dan Liddle, Director of Marketing and Business Development for Clustrix. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks, Erin. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. So what does Clustrix do? You guys do some pretty unique stuff. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, we built a massively scalable distributed database system. It sort of scales orders of magnitude larger than any database system out there today, and yet it comes in at a fraction of the cost. It's also very simple to deploy. It doesn't require any changes to the environment or the applications, and the system then allows you to scale when you need it.
So tell us about the architecture and how you're able to achieve such massive...
The scalability is a very difficult problem to solve, and our team has a long background in building distributed and parallel systems. Our founder of this company, one of the two co-founders of this company, Paul Meixel, actually was the technical founder of a company called Isilon, and he built their massively scale out and distributed file system. They took a lot of the learning that he had in going through that process and applied it to the world of databases. He and his co-founder Sergey came together to build the system from the ground up, from scratch, a truly distributed, shared nothing execution environment architecture that allows the system to scale just by simply adding nodes. You get the same proportion of transactional throughput increases as you add nodes with every node that you add because it is fully distributed and parallel. So you can start off with a small cluster of just a few nodes, all acting and looking and behaving like a single database, and then you can add nodes one at a time or 10 at a time until you grow to hundreds of nodes in size if you'd like. And it takes care of all of the background things, the load balancing, the failover, the recovery, so you don't have to write custom application code in order to achieve that. It just does it for you automatically, so it really simplifies software development for your sites and makes application development much easier.
Is this something that's easy to deploy, or how would you answer that?
Yeah, the system itself is designed to deploy into existing environments without any disruption. So it has an interface that happens to be MySQL compatible. So it speaks MySQL, so there's no changes to your application servers or other systems. You drop it in, it looks like a MySQL box, but the difference is when it comes time to scale, it will just scale up by adding nodes. And also, it's completely fault tolerant. So in the event of a failure like a drive failure or a whole node failure, the system will just keep operating without disruption, and then it will recover and self-heal back to original protection level without you having to do anything, and more importantly, without you having to write a bunch of custom code to deal with that. It just takes care of it.
And who is your primary customer, and what are they asking for?
So we're targeting companies who are building large internet scale applications, whether they be web companies or enterprise businesses who need to scale their infrastructure very, very large and handle tremendous concurrent transactional workloads. Our system does this while scaling, and it provides full transactional ACID consistency of the data itself. And as I mentioned, it deploys in a seamless fashion. The system is meant to handle just massive loads. Thousands and up to millions of users hitting at the same time. The system can handle that load in a very balanced and efficient fashion.
I would say cloud has become, much less abstract in the past year or so to an actual tangible solution. What do you see as driving adoption of cloud?
Well, I think cloud is a very good place for companies to start off life. A brand new company, say it's a web company who's working on their application, they shouldn't necessarily have to worry a lot about the infrastructure behind that, and they can use the cloud to get them momentum. But once they achieve some momentum, they get a lot of customers, they have a fair amount of data to store. Being in the cloud can be more expensive too. So what we found is that generally speaking, it's a great place to start life, and then as you grow and as you need to further optimize your environment, we've seen a lot of companies then move off and have their own data centers so that they can reduce costs and optimize the performance of the systems. And so there's it's a life cycle, a stage thing that makes sense. And so, but we've definitely seen that coming on more strongly now, and it's a great solution. Our products can actually fit into a cloud environment and provide infrastructure for the cloud as well behind the scenes too. It just allows you to scale in a much easier fashion.
Do you think security is still as big of a concern for enterprises?
Yeah, I don't think that there's been a fundamental change in concern over security. I think that's one of the primary reasons that some enterprises elect to keep their information in their own data centers. I don't see that changing. I do see companies becoming more comfortable for particular applications and various use cases. And so I think that the cloud will continue to grow, but it's not the answer to everything, but it is a very good answer for a number of particular use cases and applications.
And what do companies need to consider before they actually move to the cloud?
Yeah, I think that, security is front and center there. I think you need to be thinking about that. Depending on the data that you have and your user information, that sort of thing is critical. I think that going to the cloud really is a function of cost and performance and control of your environment. If say a web application world, things to consider would be, can you get the right performance for your particular workload in the cloud? A lot of times, well, generally speaking, the cloud uses very standard systems and components, which is a very nice thing from a cost-effective perspective, but it doesn't mean that you can't necessarily modify or optimize those for your particular workload. So we found a number of folks who care more about that. So those guys would consider that and look at that carefully before deciding to go to the cloud or not.
And finally, what will Clustrix be focused on in the next year or so?
Yeah, so we're really just building our base of customers. We've now got, we'll be having some announcements shortly, but we've got a lot of momentum happening out there, both large customers, medium, and small customers. So we're really going to be focusing in on sort of sticking to our knitting, basically continuing to enhance and grow this system, this massively scalable distributed system, and looking at different applications and use cases for that as we go through the next 12 months.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dan.
Thanks very much, Erin.
I've been speaking with Dan Liddle, Director of Marketing and Business Development for Clustrix. I'm Erin Harrison, coming to you from the Santa Clara Convention Center at Cloud Expo.